Welcome, everybody, to another episode of On That Couch podcast, where we dive into entrepreneurship, financial literacy, how to be a mortgage agent, and sometimes we got guests. Today, Danny's blocking his face because the sun's right in it. Sorry. Today, we have a very special guest. Yeah, I love it. All right, so we're doing the whole intro? No, we're starting
from the beginning.
All right, let's go.
From the beginning.
Welcome to another episode of On the Couch podcast, where we dive into financial literacy, how to be an entrepreneur, and did you know that this guy right here not only taught me my first bench press, from me lifting a piece of stick with 2 bricks to actually doing it properly, to actually teaching me my first hook.
There you go.
We're going to talk about how to be fit, how to stay healthy, and
how to maintain it for life.
yeah,
That's the secret here.
how to be disciplined, how to choose your heart. I'm Johnny Supa. I'm one of your hosts. We're here with,
Danny Cardozo.
and we got,
Dimitri Giankoulas in the house, baby.
yes, from...
Pure Motivation Fitness.
Welcome, Dimitri. It's been a minute, but you look
Thank you.
good.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to keep it up. I rent this uniform, and every Saturday I got to bring it back. And then, every week that I wear it and bring it back.
So,
Just kidding.
I just got to ask because I got curly hair like you. Do you use shea butter?
No, I actually was introduced to ABBA leave-in conditioner by my wife when I was 18. And it's like a leave-in conditioner cream. You put that shit in. It doesn't have alcohol. Doesn't have all these chemicals in. It takes care of your hair.
Nice.
Yeah.
As men, as we get older, we got to be careful. High testosterone, high
Yeah.
stress takes away that hair from us.
Yeah, which is why I'm wearing a hat right now, because I've been trying to do some different things, and I got curly hair too. So the shea butter thing.
So do I have hair like he does, man. It's just
It's dread. You wake up with an afro.
I haven't
It's
I haven't
hard to
seen
maintain.
I haven't seen that type of hair on my head in years and years and years. But
It's much easier to shave it, man. Much easier. I did it a few years back, and
It's a pain. Does it? I mean, okay, let's talk about just quickly. Like, see, me, it's self-consciousness, right? Like the hair, it bothers me the way I look. Is that some?
it's part of the look, and it's part of the way you feel. I tell people every day, how you feel is going to portray how you perform.
Yeah, we call that dapper time. Dapper time is the
I'm not sure who I was talking to yesterday actually, and they said they have to have a haircut once a week because it gives them
Therapy, bro.
it's therapy. It gives them that great feeling when they leave the house that they just feel good.
Or a beard trim, or like when women do their nails.
Yeah.
For me, it's my daily workout, bro.
Yeah.
Imagine how good that is. Every day or 6 days a week, you get that dopamine. Bam.
Yeah.
that. Yeah, definitely, which is what we're going to talk about today and how to get that.
Yeah.
But I think these things are like men's therapy, men's spas, men's nail time. Not that women don't exercise either, because I think it's big everywhere. So, Dimitri, we met 23 years ago. You've been in this business for
29
29
years.
years.
29.
So let's talk about like where you've come from, why you chose this profession, and like you're exploding right now. I'm starting to see your videos everywhere. I'm liking what you're doing because you're giving in-depth explanations on specific workouts.
Thanks,
but
bro.
let's dive from the beginning. Like why?
I don't know, man. I think I fell in love with fitness as a need to suppress the dysfunctional childhood I had. Grew up, my father wasn't around. He left very young. I never met him. I met him at his funeral 3 years ago. Grew up in Ontario housing, rough childhood, rough area. My brother and me never really got along well because there's a 6-year gap. And when there's no man in the house, the older guy tries to become the dad. And when you got dysfunction, you got dysfunction. So my mom was an immigrant from Greece, came here, worked her ass off. I remember her sleeping on the kitchen table every day. She would work a full shift, come home, go to school at nighttime. So you're kind of left alone. And I think the need for that father figure came from my coaches, my first swimming coaches, my wrestling coaches, and all through high school. So coaches were the ones that helped me ground myself, helped me find my why. And then competing in young sports when I was younger, just it gave me that sense of love. You don't have a dad, you don't have a mom. You're trying to come up with all kinds of fucking answers. But winning a trophy is like, yes, winning medals. So that kept going on. It kept me in the straight and line. A lot of Mr. Williams, my first wrestling coach, really helped me when I was going through a breakdown. When you're in high school, you want to be jacked, you want to be big, but you're swimming in the morning from 6 to 7 every day. because swim practice was always early.
Yeah.
Then you have
always
a full day of
early.
school. Then you have wrestling, football, basketball, or rugby after school. Then I would take the bus and go to work. And then I couldn't gain weight, man, for years. And then grade 10, 11, I'm like, coach, like, I got to do something. Like, do I take drugs? What do I do? And he's like, ah, man, open up Arnold's Encyclopedia. Look at that chapter about body types. He goes, you're one of them. And I was like, back those days, I would do anything you said. I had muscle magazines everywhere. My mom thought it was gay because my bedroom had pictures of bodybuilders everywhere. She's like, Mom, do you like girls or you fucking have all these guys here? So long to short, I read the post about somatotyping, ectomorph, mesomorph, endomorph. And for me, it's like, bang. It's like, aha moment. This is exactly my body type. This is exactly what is positive and beneficial for my body type. This is what I'm doing wrong. So I cut out the swimming. I cut out the wrestling. I cut out the track. I went straight into heavy lifting. I changed my eating. Boom. Gained like 15 pounds in my last 2 years. And then I was a waiter at Mr. Greek's, and Chris Simpson came in. Chris Simpson was my first mentor. He was a guy who owned Bodies by Design, the gym I trained you at.
Yeah.
Which is where our sort of
Yeah,
connection
we all
here.
connected there.
Yeah.
Your wife worked there too, right?
My wife worked
Highway
there.
7 and 27.
27, man, back in the days. He created what I have today, a very high-end boutique fitness studio. Mine's in Vaughan, his in Woodbridge. But he was the first pioneer to bring in that luxury, that small boutique atmosphere. He picked a great location. So I would just go up to anybody, anywhere, and just ask them for help. So when I went to service table, I'm like, yo, bro, I go, I love your body. I love the way you look. I mean, he had his wife back then with him. And she's like, he's married. He's going to marry me. And I'm like, I'm not, thinking of that. But what do I got to do? How do I look like you? Tell me what to do.
I love
And he
it.
goes, come, I have a gym. Why don't you come up? If you want to get a job, you got to get certified, whatever. Boom. I got certified right away. Went to work for him. Great 4-year span. Unfortunately, there's always going to be negativity and envious people in your life. So one of the coaches, when I was going to Greece one year, went and fed him bullshit and said that I was looking at quitting gyms and changing. So poor guy, he must have paid attention to it, thought about it. When I came back from my holidays, he let me go under the assumption that he thought I was leaving. I said, listen, man, it's the biggest mistake you're making. I will live and die for you. I'll take a bullet. I left. It was the best thing for me because I went as a nobody downtown to Bay in Davenport. I got hired by Premier Fitness. So I learned the boutique atmosphere from Chris. I learned how to take care of wealthy people and how to give amazing service. Then I went to Premier Fitness and I worked for the biggest scumbag of the earth, John Cardillo. And if you're watching, you're a piece of shit, and that's why your empire crumbled. But he was the guy who was the scammer. He was the guy who would build the gym during pre-sales. He would get all the sales, then he'd shut down the gym and move to another location and say, you never did electrical right, you never did this right. There was always a problem. He would always open up gyms, close them. When I was in the club, I was breaking record. I took the worst club, Bay and Davenport, from 19th out of 21 clubs to third place in 90 days. So he loved me, but then I wasn't getting paid, bro. My paychecks were like a month, 2 months late. So then by the draw, Bally Total Fitness, the best company I worked for, big American conglomerate. They were one of the biggest chains in the world. They had 420 locations. They started coming to Canada and buying every club. They bought Sports Clubs of Canada. They bought Crunch Fitness, Pinnacle Fitness. So they heard of me down the street from Premier and they scouted me over. And then it was like, wow, heaven. Proper training. It's like the Keg restaurant. Work at the Keg.
Yeah.
Everything is systemized, itemized. Great company, great pay structure. I kept winning a bunch of medals, awards, going to the States. And then they turned me into the machine that I don't want to be, which is I'm a workhorse. I'm a slave to the number. I want to beat my quota. I don't care if you're my staff member. You got to make calls. You got to make calls. You're not going to go out today. Make calls, hit your quota, or else. That wasn't me.
Because a lot of the fitness business is sales based,
Is
right?
that
Like, it's all membership
numbers,
based, right?
bro. It's volume. And I was different. I was the only guy in Bally's who was come in for an assessment. Let me give you a free workout. They didn't like that. Let me assess you. Go back home. Come back for another half an hour. Give you another free workout. Assess your body type. Bring your wife. They wanted it done now and then. So it got to the point where after winning my last award and going to the States, my team started hating me. My trainers were like despising me. I was not who I am. And I asked my mentor, I go, what do I do, bro? I go like, this is not me. He goes, quit. I'm like, what? He goes, quit. Leave at the highest note you can.
It's crazy.
Bally's was going through the worst.
I just want to touch on that. It's
Yeah.
one of the things that my mentor said to me at that time. Take your awards and accolades
Leave, bro.
and leave.
Phil Benson doing. If you're watching, what up, bro? And so the company was falling apart, and luckily, I started Pure Motivation Fitness in-home training. It was my passion to start up something separate. I lived in a condo, and I would work 6, 7, 8, 9, 6, 7, 8 in the morning, one-on-one PT. I would go have breakfast. I would go to the gym, work from 9 to 7:30, come home 7:30. I did 8 to 9, and that was my fucking day. I was a slave. But I was trying to build shit up. My wife was pregnant. So when I quit, that's when all the clubs started falling apart. Bally's was just growing way too big, and they weren't managing the company. So the U.S., all the shareholders were pulling out money. And it wasn't until one of my managers sent me an email, and he goes, hey, man, I don't know who you pissed off, but somebody sent a BCC email to head office, to Chicago, to New York, and they said that you're conspiring, you've been stealing money, you opened up a business called Pure Motivation Fitness, you're taking all their members. I'm like, it's on a Sunday night. I'm like, are you fucking for real? Who would do that? I go, no problem. This is the best thing I'm going to fucking quit. So I called my web designer. I go, take down my website, because I wasn't taking away from the business. If anything, I was the top guy in Toronto. I managed 17 clubs with coaches. I go, take down the website. I go, put a monkey with scratching his head saying, I love capoeira. And so when they went to puremotivationfitness.com, they would see that. And I went in the morning, I put a resignation note under my boss's door. And then boom, the next day, everyone from Chicago came, VPs, all these big cars, begging me to stay. I said, I'm done. I'm gone. So I took my Honda Accord, bro. I put a big sticker on the back, in-home training. One of my coaches came with me, and it was horrible. I was driving downtown Toronto, Forest Hill, Oakville, fucking Bay and Bloor, Mississauga. I would just go anywhere trying to drop flyers off and build the in-home. So the in-home started building. But then I got capped. I couldn't sell no more because
Your time was capped.
time, bro.
Yeah.
you know what it's like at running a business, and I hope we get into it, but it was capped. And I'm like, fuck, what do I do? 2-3 years went by. And then I hired another
You can't
mentor.
clone yourself.
You can't.
Like
And he said,
every
"Take the
every,
boat."
every
He goes,
entrepreneur
"Open up a
faces
club."
that challenge when you're growing.
So I tried a few different locations in the Woodbridge area. Didn't work out in terms of me looking at landlords and stuff. I went to Dufferin and Major Mac, a beautiful area, up and coming area, very highly disposable income. But I had no money. I had no covenants. So when I called the landlords, they're like, listen, you got no other locations. You got no money. We can't do this. I go, can I come in the business plan and money, and then you pay attention to me? They go, yeah, whatever. So I went to Indigo. I bought 3 books, How to Write a Business Plan. I read them. We didn't have ChatGPT back then. So you have to fucking read a book and write a summary. I put it together. I went to the bank. I got 250 from RBC, 120 from BDC. I had 80 of my own. And I basically signed the lease. I bought my home the same year. And I'm like, babe, we're either going to go bankrupt in 6 to 8 months,
Oh my God, I love this.
or we're going to run it. And she was like, I'm pregnant. What are you doing? I'm like, just trust me.
Yeah.
So the only mistake I made in this world, anybody watching here is a business owner, an entrepreneur, if you can, and I'm sure you guys would agree, is buy your building, buy your land, buy the floor you're on. Not that leasing is not well, but if you want generational wealth and you can buy a building and you can pay off the mortgage, when the mortgage is done, if you die, your kids can take it over.
Yep.
So the only tough part about running a gym and where I'm running in a commercial retail, you guys are commercial too. Your rent is probably higher than if you went somewhere industrial. But you get to lay off of more eyes, more traffic. So Pure Motivation Fitness went well. Ran it from 2006, I opened up in-home. 2009, I opened up the club. 2013, we expanded. Went from 6,500 to 7,500 square feet. The world was great. Team training was amazing. 20 people in a class. COVID comes in, fucking knocks you off your feet. The government turns around and places you on fucking arrest. Can't go nowhere. The beer store, the dollar store, fucking everyone's open with lineups. and I got a gym with 7,500 square feet and rent I got to pay, and they keep me closed. So
You have to pivot.
I lost everything, bro. I lost my team. I lost my members. We went from 400 members to like 83. I was refunding between 4,000 to 8,000 a day. I would sit and almost cry in my office with no lights on because I had no staff. And then I always had business coaches. I've always paid for coaches for the past 20 years, the best in the US, especially the US. And Tim Lyons was my coach back then. And he goes, you got to embrace the suck, bro. This is your time to embrace it. You've been through all kinds of shit. Embrace the suck. Go get he said, go get something to remind you every day that you can do this. So I went and got a tattoo, and it says, happiness is a decision. Because I was miserable every day. Like I was this fit guy, healthy, great company, biggest growth, and then I'm closed. So during that period, I taught a lot about myself. I learned resiliency. I learned resourcefulness. I learned that when you're being squeezed at the neck and you got a little bit of oxygen left, then your faith really kicks in and you can look to your wife, your kids, people that really support you, help you. So I was making all these Zoom videos, wasn't working. And then a bunch of dudes were reaching out to me all around online. I get a phone call from my father's side and they're like, listen, we haven't reached out to you in 45 years. We're sorry. We know your dad was a mess, but he's dying. He's in St. Joseph's Hospital, same hospital that my mom gave birth to me at alone. They go, if you want to come see him, you can come see him. I'm like, fuck this, man. If I come down, I'm going to break the beds. I'm going to smash people's faces. I don't want to see nobody. So I prayed to God. I'm very faithful. I said, God, let him pass. I'll go to his funeral. He passed. I went to his funeral with my daughter. And then I went to his home just to see like what he lived like. And I couldn't believe the circumstances, the minimalistic things in his room. He had posters of me on the wall, bro, of me competing and me and my wife and me winning awards. And I'm like, what the fuck? Sorry if I'm swearing here, but I'm like, how does someone talk to his landlord? I'm like, how is the guy living here for 35 years and never mention my name once, never call me? So long story short, his father was he was Macedonian, was in the war. He never met him. His mom remarried some rich dude, had 3 daughters, fucking dumped him and his brother and sister to the grandmother. They flew to Canada. He was 19, rebellious, drinking and driving, got into a car accident, knocked a big pole. The pole came down, killed his buddy, paralyzed his friend. He was in a coma for 4 months. When he came out of the coma, it wasn't the same, bro. Your brain's off. You're fucking scattered. Couldn't get a job, couldn't drive, living on disability. So he probably made the biggest, hardest decision after my brother was born, because my brother was 6. And when I was born, he just bailed. He said, I can't do this. And he left my mom. And had he not do that, I wouldn't be here. Had he not do that, I wouldn't have a business. Had he not do that and he was living with us, I would have been probably subject to a dysfunctional family with a father who was a drunk, who was a gambler, St. Clair in Caledonia. Yeah. So ever since then, when I went to his funeral, I started recognizing that all these guys are reaching out to me, men, bro, I'm on drugs. I want to do this. I'm dealing with stress. How do I do it? So I'm like, you know what? I have a fucking calling here. My calling is, I was born to motivate, educate, inspire. That's my job. That's what God gave me. The health, the body, the physical, the attributes. He said, that's your job. But then he also says, you got to help men, because men suffer in silence. Men like you two want to work hard, build families. You'll grind, you'll sacrifice, you'll go in debt. You won't take care of your bodies. You'll stress out for your kids, for your wife. But then you sit in silence and fucking break yourself down. So I started with another coach, Vince Del Monte. He says, create your own app, create your own training, take all the years of training, package it up, put it in nutrition, get yourself a program, market it on Instagram, social media, YouTube. And then people started reaching out to me, and I say, you know what? I'm going to create the Spartan Father Project. And it's for men over 40, up to like 85 years old. And it's an online coaching program where I give you training, daily routine, nutrition, weekly group calls. There's a group chat with a bunch of dudes in the call. And it's a program where it doesn't matter where you live in the city, but if you're a man over 40, you're a family, you're single, whatever it is you need, we'll provide you support, training, and we'll get you results, man. And now I can do it from my phone, bro. Like, it's crazy. I'll put videos on YouTube, and I have women reaching out to me from San Antonio, from Chicago. I have guys, husbands and wives calling me from the UK. And they're like, hey, we saw your video. We think we resonate. We want a mature coach. You got kids, you got a family, you're almost 50. You look like the part. I want to hire you. And what's nice now is, excuse me, with technology, like if you guys join my gym, you're going to get results because we got you accountable. The community's great. The coaches are sick. The philosophy of body type training works. It's like you guys, more customized. Like I come in here, I feel like I'm looking around. I don't feel like I'm in a fucking assembly line. I feel like I'm going to get a help from people. But the one thing that I'm going to teach your viewers today is when you're accountable to you and to you, forget me, to yourself, damn it. You're a fucking man. You got to wake up in the morning. Did you do your morning prayer? Did you fucking go for a walk? Did you write a journal to your kids? Did you eat your breakfast? Did you pray and say, thanks for giving me life? I'm going to come here today. I got a beautiful work. I got a videographer here. I got fucking people going to pay us money for a problem we're going to help them with. Are you doing those things? If you're not, you're going to have problems. So with the app, it gives each client, they got to, click to did a workout. They got to click log with their food. They got to click if they're upset, they can literally pull out the phone and be like, hey bro, I'm going to a stag tonight. It's 3:00. I haven't eaten nothing all day. My day's a mess. What do I do? What do I eat? And then with technology, I can pick up the phone and I can message a guy in the US and in 3 seconds, he knows what to do. So with technology now, even though I got a beating and my business took a big, we never came back to normal. I don't think we ever will. It's a different normal now. So we had to pivot.
Yeah.
We had to pivot to semi-private coaching, 6 people in a group versus 20. So now my wages went up because now to train 20 people, I need 3 coaches training 6 at a time. But the model stuck nice because now people come to our club and everyone gets coaching, whether you come with 1-on-1, 2-on-1, your insurance benefits, 6-on-1. And it's great. I'm in a position where I'm thankful. Everything has been due to the fact that I've kept true to my roots.
I want to touch on that because
it's important to keep credible to yourself.
see, the story is incredible because coming from hardship, building a brand that you've done and obviously being successful at it, it comes from being an entrepreneur, does it not? Like being fit is one part, that's one discipline. But the entrepreneurial side of it, like not giving up, knowing your true roots, giving yourself the chance, right? Like we talked about this on the phone.
I love that.
Right? Like you got to pick your heart.
Pick your heart, bro.
Right?
Those are really good.
Either you do the hard work now and it'll be easy later, or if you decided to just give up, which is easy. Giving up is easy,
now,
right?
Hard later, bro.
Easy now, it'll become a much harder later. And I mean, maybe that stemmed from like what you had to grow up with, right? Like growing up hard was hard, but things get easier. But if growing up was easy,
Yeah, that's why I tell people I used to cry myself to sleep so many nights because my mom didn't get it. Like I would come home with trophies, top 50-meter butterfly in all of fucking Toronto. And I'd be so excited on the bus to come home to show her. I'm like, yeah. And I would show it to her. And poor lady, she's like, oh, that's great. She goes, okay, when you're done, I defrost the chicken. Remember, cut it up, put it in the fryer. I'm going to go to school now, clean your bedroom, do this. And I'm like, what the fuck?
yeah,
I'm like,
because they didn't understand.
I didn't get
back
it.
then.
but I think you need hardship in order to appreciate life. And the one thing she kept saying to me, she forgets it now because she's 78. She's a truck, by the way. I just saw her this morning. If you ever see a senior in the gym fucking pushing weight and training, it's my mom. She always used to say to me, because she knew I was always complaining, she's like, listen, there's someone worse than you right now. Mm-hmm. There's someone with no parents. And there's rich people too. So you're in the middle. And I'm like, okay. She almost brainwashed me with that. So now it's stuck.
I want to say something on that because
It's stuck, man.
people say, I wrote this down. People say the joy, comparison is the thief of joy, is what they say. I actually disagree. I disagree because I think comparison is actually the inspiration and motivation.
Well,
because
comparison can be a thief because if all you do is keep looking at this
but
dude
that's a
thinking,
choice, like you have on your arm. The choice is
it's a choice.
You have the choice to choose your attitude. I can
yeah.
choose to be positive, or I could choose to be negative. Those are choices.
Or I chose when I used to do in-home training, I used to purposely drive down Forest Hill, all those. What's that area downtown Toronto where all those massive homes are? Drake
Bridle
lives?
path.
Right
Right, but
path.
I used to drive there, and I used to put my business cards on every car purposely. I knew no one would call me. Sometimes they did, but I would just put them there thinking, if I do this, I will become successful. If I don't come here, I'm not going to become
So
successful.
I would do the same thing, right? I would drive to National Estates and do the same. I would drive around, and that to me, that was the comparison. But people say it's the thief of joy. I wrote this down. Sure, if you're insecure and passive, it can be. But if you don't buy it, I believe comparison could be the source of all progress.
Yeah, because for me, I always
Like you just said
looked at
earlier, you said that
families
your bedroom had pictures of guys and bodybuilders, right? Like that's comparison.
yeah.
Like
That-
I did with hockey players.
Yeah.
And yep.
So
Well, you need idols, and
Yeah,
as,
you
as a
need-
young
you-
boy growing up,
You need motivation.
if it wasn't
right?
for Arnold, if it wasn't for like my office today is full of Arnold. I'm putting together a 8 series video where I'm going to beg Arnold on camera on YouTube with my son to fly down there and have me interview him, and I'm going to show all the videos I've ever done, and I'm just going to go through it. Why not?
what's the worst is he going to say? No.
Yeah,
No still happens if you don't try.
Arnold, if you ever watch this, I'm coming for you.
So the truth, so here's something I want to talk about too. So you see someone who says or doing what you say you want to do and it bothers you, that's the signal, right? Like you knew that being fit, being disciplined is something inside you. And you knew that if you didn't do it, it would bother you.
And again, it comes from upbringing. My mom was a man in a woman's body. She just knew discipline. She would put on the kitchen fridge Sunday. I still have my own now. I've created it for the men that I work with. Sunday to Saturday, 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. Plot out your week, bro. It's our success planner. And she would put down, you come home from school, you have homework, you have dusting, you have cleaning, you have laundry, TV. And it was like, if you didn't do those, she'd fucking beat you.
So you could block scheduling your
Would
time.
block
How important is
scheduling
that? So
your time.
can you negotiate with discipline?
I'll tell you how to negotiate with discipline. If this guy said, I'm going to go to the gym at 7 a.m. in my home or the gym, whatever, and he woke up and at 6:30, he's like, oh, you know what? I can go make this call right now and I may get a deal. I may close a new client. Okay. You're going to punish yourself now because you're going to miss that 7 a.m. workout. You're going at 6 p.m. And if you don't go at 6 p.m., you're going to take $100 out of your pocket and go give it to a charity or give it somewhere. So if you can blackmail yourself or learn to mindfuck yourself where if you want to do something badly, but you know you're going to keep quitting, you need to put a good habit next to a bad habit. And like Atomic Habits, the book, like if you want to quit
Atomic Habit,
smoking,
great book.
you got to put something that's positive next to it. If you want to go to the gym, something positive. But if you don't have discipline, and this is why I blackmail and I force my son, he's 12, to do 40 pull-ups with a band and 40 push-ups timed. Every set we time it to see how he improves. Every day when he's not playing basketball, so 3 days a week, I bug him, and even if it's 9 o'clock, did you do them yet? No, let's go right now. And he hates me for it, but when he's doing them, he loves me. If you don't do hard shit now and make your kids do hard shit, when are you going to learn to do it, bro?
So is the truth of the matter is because they don't want to pay the price? The sacrifice is too big? Like that's what we find. See, I find that whether it's being disciplined in fitness or being disciplined as an entrepreneur, it's the same because
Same
the
shit.
sacrifice is this big and the goal that you had might be just too small. Sometimes is the
I think
reason.
you should frame it this way. If you want to become an amazing entrepreneur, you've got to conquer you first. How can you conquer and run a staff of however many people? How can you be a face of a company, but then when you tell yourself, okay, you're going to work out this morning, I'm going to hit the snooze. What happens is you diffuse the credibility gem. And if you say you're going to do something, you do it, you get a little win. So every morning I fill this up with 10 grams of creatine, sometimes 5. I put branched chain amino acids in it and collagen powder and water. It's my first little win. Then I'll go and sit down and I'll journal to my kids. I've got books that I've journaled, pages of what's happening. If I lose a client, if I'm pissed off at their mom, if I'm pissed off at them, journal. And then I'll try to go to the gym, whatever. But if you stack little mini wins, you build credibility. If you build credibility, you can now have confidence to do something. Well, if you say you're going to go to the gym 3 times and you do, now you have competency. So you got credibility, You have competency. When you're competent, you're confident now.
Yep.
And now if you have all three of those C's, you create a new character. So your identity now isn't, I'm an entrepreneur. I help people. I improve people's lives. I solve problems. So now everything you do is aligned. So now when someone comes to you with an idea that doesn't fit your alignment and it's a shady job, you're like, no, bro, I don't want it. If someone comes to you with an idea or something, and I always tell people this, man, how can you become an entrepreneur and deal with the landlords that are going to screw you like they screw me each year with increases here? How are you going to deal with the government? How are you going to deal with someone shady who's trying to screw your business when you haven't done 3 sets of Bulgarian split squats, and then you swang a kettlebell for 20 reps, and then you did battle row for 30 seconds, and your heart rate was at 135, and you're dripping the sweats in your eyes, and you're like, oh, the salt's burning me. If you don't destroy yourself and hurt yourself, you will slowly live a life of mediocrity, I believe, and you will start to choose average over hard. And then we're fucked because, we start get comfortable with, average is okay. Average is okay. I got a good life. I got a good car. I got the pool. I got a nice business. And then we get comfortable. And I think comfortable is what kills the entrepreneur. Because think about it. You guys are your own bosses, right?
Yep.
You could have easily just said, hey, D, something happened. We're going to push the podcast to Monday. You could have said, I'm going to go to the beach with my wife. I'm going to take the kids and go fucking do whatever.
First of all, this is a Friday of a long weekend, by the way.
You could have easily canceled.
Any excuse could have come up.
You're the owner. So as business owners and entrepreneurs, if you have that power where you can just cancel and change plans, who's keeping you accountable?
Nobody.
Who's making you become the rock hard person?
Yep.
So now if you train and you set your own little goals, and if you had a good coach like me, and I'm like, yo, I don't care where you live, I'm going to check in with you on Zoom next Friday at 3:00. And I'm going to go through the same fucking questions. Give me a win. What's working with your training? What's not working with your nutrition? What do you need help with? How can I support you? And what's your goal for the next 7 days? Those 5 questions can build champions. But if no one's asking you them, you can just do whatever you want.
Well, that's one thing I want to touch on before we, and we'll get to where we get to. So, you see, a lot of people think that doing the bare minimum is acceptable, right? Like it's expected of you to do the bare minimum, like
to meet the expectation.
But that's still mediocrity, right? Like the Lakers didn't like Kobe Bryant. If Kobe Bryant just did what was expected from him from the Lakers, he would have never done greatness.
Right, but he woke up and trained in the morning with his daughter. He trained in lunchtime. He trained three times a day.
He went over and above what was expected. And then you have guys like Michael Jordan, who started his practice with chest passes and stuck to the basics. Doing the basics, those are natural expectations. Like showing up to work on time. Like when it's
you gotta be early, bro. I love this.
Yeah, like when somebody says like, "Hey, I show up on time," bro. That's basic expectations. That's the basic. That's supposed to be. Yeah. Like, bro, you left the office at 5:05. Don't tell me you fucking stayed late because it's 5:05. That's not staying late. Staying late is till 7.
Right.
Like, so these basic stuff is, man, this is real. Everything that you're saying is written in every book I read.
I think though where it stems from is the parenting. And this is where you get breakups with people who grow up in society who become dysfunctional in the work field. Like our generation of now, the work labor force is bad. I'm not saying in a bad way, but generationally, their parents did too much for them. And they don't know, like when you go to work, you respect your boss. You go early and you leave. Is there anything I can do, boss? Okay, you know what? Have a good day. Have a nice weekend. Sometimes that's gone. Sometimes just doing the job is a bare minimum. But if the parents set the example from a young age, clean your room, put the dishes away. When you walk into a room, go shake his hand. He's older than you.
Yeah.
Go hold the fucking door. If parents don't do that, kids become reckless. And then, again, you can't blame the kids because my son's 12, my daughter's 18. When they were born, there was a fucking iPad in the room.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm guilty
and it's even
of it.
worse now than it was for
Right.
that generation.
Let's
Trying to close a deal. You're with a client. Here, honey, watch this next to me, okay? Good.
Yeah, but now work ethic is totally different because there is a generation that's been robbed of work ethic.
Robbed, bro. And
Right?
now,
Because you can push a
technology.
button and food comes to your door. You
Right.
push a button but there's a twist to this.
don't
You
gotta
push a
go
button
anywhere.
and food and clothes come to your door. But look at the pivot that you had to make, Dimitri. In a push of a button, you got fitness in your hands, right? So
Can't be mad at it because
no, you can't, because it
it's
makes
helping me run my career now with men that I would never meet.
right.
Ever.
So
Yep.
So let me jump to that. So now, what do you guys do in your respective fields to combat the nonsense and a lot of the noise on social media? Some good, some bad. Especially in your particular career, how everyone thinks that they're a fitness.
I can crush this right now. Ready? Okay. So to speak on and to touch on that point, technology is going to be positive and negative. In my case, it's a little bit harder because trainers have already tarnished the industry from being aggressive, from having the previous mindset of putting people down. You're overweight. You can't do a pull-up, Danny. Your percentage is so high, you may get a heart attack. You need to buy a year worth of training 3 times a week. It's $10,000. Oh, you can't do that? Why? You don't care about your health? So they've ruined our industry bad. Now what's happening is with the influencer generation, everyone from your cousin to your whomever, your neighbor, is going online, getting a certification. They're young, they got good bodies, they put up here, I'm a trainer. And then there's elderly people or, our age that are calling them and saying, hey, Johnny, I saw you're a trainer, you have a six-pack. And these guys are ripping people off. They're signing people up overseas, online, paying thousands of dollars, getting cookie cutter shit. There's no manager to complain to. I've had horror stories where people told me they paid $1,000 for an online program. They got an Excel spreadsheet and they got a phone call once a month. And I'm like, bro, are you for real? So God made us in a certain way where he understands we're going to keep getting better and more and more and more technological. But I believe I'm very faithful. I believe he allows us to make our own decisions. You make your bed. And to one day, we either will take technology to the point where it destroys us, like Skynet in Terminator, or in one case, if we can control it, like technologies help us out with surgeries, man. A guy can go get a vasectomy right now in and out. A person can get a heart surgery done with a doctor in Argentina who's on a computer.
they saved my daughter's life by video.
How?
When she was born, so she came from C-section, her lungs collapsed, and because they collapsed, it pierced her heart.
Wow.
And it to me, it was the scariest thing I ever watched.
Surgery?
No, they put tubes in her, and they I don't know what they did.
Again?
They inflated. They did something. I think, I don't know. I could be wrong. But what was happening at that time? The hospital we were at, they didn't have the staff there. They contacted sick kids on video, and that doctor watched my daughter.
That's crazy, bro.
And I stood there like a
10
stone.
years ago, she may have passed, right? So,
I don't know. Maybe
15
long.
years ago, they may not have that.
But
So technology is a big role of it. But I'm old school. Technology is making us lazier.
100%.
but also more efficient.
Yeah.
efficient, yeah.
Technology wouldn't really exist right now.
Right. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Since COVID, they would have flatlined it.
Now,
And we
we're
need to
talking about technology, and obviously there's AI. And how are you going to implement that into your business?
AI has been amazing, bro. AI has been amazing, and I'll tell you how. And for people who watch, I'm great in camera, in person. I can talk for hours and hours and hours. But if you told me, can you send me an email of what you want to talk about, bro? The email's gonna be grammar errors. I'm talking sentences, paragraphs. You're like, what grade is this guy in? He's talking about one thing, then he talks to another thing. So for my podcast episodes, I will put in a page or two of what I want to talk about, what I want to do. I'll put into ChatGPT, and it literally will,
I'm in ChatGPT right
it'll
now. Like,
clean me up,
Yeah.
show notes, organize it. So now if I see one sentence, I can talk for an hour on that one sentence. It's helped me out where for my team, I'll put in a problem and I'll put in the team that I have and what I want as an outcome. And I'm like, because sometimes I'm too bullheaded. I'm a Taurus, but like, I'll be like, fuck it. Call the team in right now. Let's fix this problem right now. Meanwhile, no one talked about it. We have no plan. I'm just go, 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 go. And my wife, who's my partner, she's like, bro, let's write it on paper first. Don't call nobody. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out.
Danny was my ChatGPT before
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
So now I'll put something in there and I'll be like, give me 3 action steps on how to implement this without being aggressive with my team, because I don't want to put more pressure on them now. And I'm like, I'm like, oh, wow, that's so cool. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
So we need to utilize it to our advantage. I just taught my mom in the last 2 days, an hour and a half lesson of ChatGPT, because she's trying to get retirement money from Greece. And it gave us 3 email structures, amazing literature. We sent it to Greece last night.
It's amazing.
It's been 3 years. She hasn't got paid, bro. Greece got back to her yesterday saying, oh, we made an error with the banking system.
Could you have done it without ChatGPT?
No, because I would have sent a fucking email.
No, you got to go to the consulate. You know, you got to go to the consulate. You got to make an
it would have been a
appointment.
mess.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah, but I now have full conversations with chat. So you have, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but on chat you have the
Dictation where you can speak and it writes it out for you.
no. It does, but it's having a full conversation back and forth.
yeah, you hit the thing, the button.
It's voice.
It's the ChatGPT avatar.
It's this. The voice note on the bottom, the black little
Just
circle.
don't pick a female avatar and start going nuts at nighttime.
But I have full conversations with it. So now what I'm doing is as I'm putting together my next project, I'll be like, "Hey, chat, I want to have a 15-minute conversation with you on a topic that I want to make some ads at, some social content from.
You can even
I want to
prompt it
create
to
an
ask you
ebook
questions of what
afterwards.
it needs
Oh
to
yeah,
know about you.
you guys like we can have this.
This is Carl, by the way.
We can have
I've been using it for.
we can
since it
have
came out.
chat
I love it.
create a podcast where it will go back and forth with the topics that you tell it.
Yeah.
Not with you, with another avatar chat thing. And then you could come in and pretend you're the guest asking questions. This is what I just introduced Johnny to. And Google now has what's called the
With their
LM,
own.
LM notebook
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something,
yeah,
or
yeah.
LM box. Or
LM box. You can put things into a box. Like
you
FAQs.
put everything into a box. So whatever you put in there, it's ChatGPT, but instead of it going outside, it only pulls the information out of what you put inside that box.
Sometimes it makes mistakes. The one key thing with chat you have to remember is whenever you're giving it a prompt and it's giving you feedback on the information, copy that, paste it somewhere else, because when you go back and ask another question, it'll 3% of it will make a mistake. So if you don't keep referring back to the previous one and then moving it around, your fifth version will not be like the first one.
Doesn't. You're right.
It'll
Which
be
is what we do.
slowly
I always have a doc. I have Google Docs open.
Yeah.
I take what I like. I put it there, and I'm like, okay, take phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, because I work in phases. I love everything I do in 5 phase, 4 phase, whatever it is, sequences. But
The only problem is kids now, man. Like kids
Absolutely
are
not.
using it like, and they're not doing their homework. They don't, like back in the days, I remember going to the library in high school and having to get encyclopedias, remember? And we had to read shit.
it's just a way to find information. If you're not reading what it's doing, then you're
Yeah,
losing.
and they'll just be like, they'll take the homework question, they'll input it, it'll give the whole thing. They take it from chat, they put it in another website, which reverts the grammar and the copy into non-traceable copy. Then they'll put that in.
Yeah, humanized dot.
And my daughter, my son are so against using it because they're trying to show me. They're at that age now where they want to prove to me they can do everything on their own.
Yep.
They want that independency. So every time my daughter sees me on chat, she's like, Dad, you can do a better job. Why are you using chat? And I'm like, how am I going to come up with scripts for podcasts that I got to record with an hour of a podcast on biomechanics of the squat by myself right now? I'm thinking about paying rent. I'm thinking about doing this, making an ad, taking you to practice. I'm going to give it what I want. It's going to feed me back stuff. And then all I need is the little sentence to get me
Like
started.
this morning, Danny last night did some notes. He sent it to me this morning. Asked Nick. Nick pulled up to me on Highway 50 on our way into the office, and he's like talking to me. I'm like, I can't. I'm talking to chat right now. I can't interrupt this conversation because it'll pick up another
Right,
conversation. It's so interesting. Chat is great. So when we invited or actually, sorry, you asked.
Yeah.
But the invitation was put on the table to be a guest on the show. We talked about what we do on the show. We talked about tequila,
Yeah.
and obviously, every episode we
You take a shot of tequila.
no we
So if you have 70 episodes, that's 70 shots of tequila. That means
we've
your
had.
liver's getting fucked. Just
no no
no, it's one,
Well-
one shot a week should be okay. As long as you're not hitting the. As long as you're not hitting.
Yeah, my
the
doctor
oxygen.
says you're okay with seven.
Seven a week.
drinks a week. Don't pass that, and your body.
That's
won't
like the
be
imaginary
affected
drink
for it.
tickets I gave one of my clients who was drinking hard. I go, listen, instead of trying to quit, because he's extremely wealthy gentleman. He's got lands, dealerships, whatever. I said, try to pretend you have 7 imaginary drink tickets. So whether you want to have 7 in one night, or you want to have 2 Monday, 2 Wednesday, 2 Friday, and 1 on Saturday, figure it out. So he went from having big lunch meetings with bottles of wine with the partners and at home some grappa and then a glass of wine with dinner. He went from a massive amount to chop down, and now his liver enzymes are great.
Yeah,
Because you got to be careful too, right?
100%.
yeah. So we always talk about tequila, and we rate the bottle and so on. But we're gonna flip the script for the last couple of minutes here before we end the show. The harm, like, why don't you drink? Is it
Well, bodybuilders have a tough time doing any type of drug that affects their performance to train. If I drink, like last night I went to a stag and I had 3 vodka sodas, 2 of them were doubles. I had another amaretto. I'm with a bunch of, guys, we're networking, whatever. And I can already tell I woke up dehydrated. I went home. My head is kind of foggy. I'm going to train today, but I don't feel like training. Whereas a lot of people that, drink recreationally, they do it a lot. One, for training purposes, it's a diuretic. It's like hardcore coffee. It gets rid of water. 2, you're trying to maintain lean muscle. Water sits inside this muscle and keeps you full. Well, you want to stay away from drugs that get rid of water from you. Second of all, it's affecting your liver. It's going to go through your liver. It's going to toxify your liver. Your liver is required for doing so many other functions. So there's different ways to enjoy alcohol. I don't know. I never got into it. I know guys drink a lot of beer. Beer is very, in my eyes, estrogenic. It's not the best thing. If you're going to have alcohol, try to go with a drier wine. Try to go with a vodka soda, something clean. Like, think about it also. One guy was drinking gin and tonic last night. I go, bro, do you understand there's fucking like 20, 30 grams of sugar in tonic water? Or
Yep.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
What a beer is not good?
Well, the barley, the yeast. There's been studies that show that it's linked to being more estrogenic. When guys developed bitch
Man
tits
tits?
or man boobs, the estrogen in your body is increasing. So estrogen increases in your body in different forms. When you're a baby, look at little baby boys; they got titties. Why? Their body's going through a growth hormone phase. When you go through puberty and you're 14, 15, you got titties again. You're like, yo, why is my nipples getting? The estrogen level's high. Now, when men gain weight and they get older, and they gain visceral tissue in the gut, which is the most toxic one, you also have lower testosterone levels and high estrogen. So high estrogen is linked to fatty or adipose tissue in the chest area. High visceral stomach fat for men is linked to
I feel
high
fat
cortisol,
right now, by the way.
high stress. Women have in the waistline. So nothing's wrong with drinking, but my thing is this. No, if you work out, then life comes in moderation. But when you don't work out, there's an instability. Because now you can't have a balance. You can't, a little bit of pork chop, a little bit of steak, a little bit of Wagyu, a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of wine. Where's your base? Where's the workout? Where's the fucking deadlifts? Where's the shoulder presses? Where's the running? Where's the skipping rope? And if you're not fixing the body, during that 1 hour, guys, I swear to God, my world ceases. Earphones on. I listen to podcasts now because I'm a little older. I want to hear, be motivated. But when I put rock on, when I put alternative, when I put hip hop, the world ceases. My calluses come to life. You grip that bar and you just pound your body. And when you're pounding your body, that's where you come up with the ideas for the business. That's where the fears of what you want to accomplish get diminished. Because you stand in the mirror, you're like, fuck, look at this body. I did it today. I wanted to. I was afraid, but I did it. Even if you're a fat, overweight person, the fact that you did a workout means you're elite today. You're better than the rest of the world. So I tell people, and all the guys in my group said, listen, you're going to invest money with me? Good. I'm going to keep you accountable. I'm going to put invisible handcuffs on your arm, and I'm going to fucking yank that every week. But you have a duty as a man, and your duty is to protect, provide, and procreate. You need to make sure that you develop a legacy, especially if you have young boys. Like I grew up without a dad. And when I'm hard on my son, I tell him on purpose, I'm going to squeeze you until we get lemon juice and orange juice, because I'm going to die.
I'm gonna use that on my.
I may die, bro. Tell your kid, your daughter, your son, I may die. I told my daughter last night, she got an award for an art show. I go, great job. I'm going to push you and squeeze you. Guess what? You got to work out this week. Just because you get honor roll doesn't mean shit. You got to work out. I may die. And when I die, I'm not going to be there to help you. And the world gets a little colder. So we have a duty. And when you tell yourself you have a duty, you start to elevate how you feel about yourself. And when you elevate how you feel, a thought produces an emotion. Emotion produces a feeling, an action. And then your outcome changes. So if I can just make you guys leave here today saying, you know what? I'm going to go for a 45-minute jog today. I don't give a fuck if I can do it. I'm just going to go do it. When you're done, you're like, oh, I'm a little better than my next door neighbor. I'm a little better than all these guys.
Great.
Yeah, the joy of comparison, not the robbery of comparison.
And you take it and you're like, elevate.
But people, okay, like I know we're gonna end the show. We're gonna wrap up the show. I know people like I want to be better than my fucking neighbor. I want what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. And saying it out loud because we went through this 2 decades of participations and everybody's rewarded for mediocrity.
Or you're gonna lose.
I want to be better than I want to be better than everybody. I want to be better than me. More importantly,
right? Because you're always going to wake up. I will wake up some days amazingly motivated, and some days I just want to hide, bro.
That's human. That's normal.
I want to hide and just don't want to go to work. I don't want to talk to nobody.
But I want to wrap it up on this one thing that I think the biggest takeaway, the biggest maybe punchline is you have a duty.
Yeah, man.
I like that because you do have a duty.
You're a man.
As a man, yeah. And being Greek, I think it's a big deal because I come from, I'm Italian, he's Portuguese, but that Mediterranean, not that it's any different anywhere, but I think our ancestors always pushed, you have a duty as a man, right?
Especially if you can see what was achieved back in those days compared to now. Like, come on.
There's a big difference. And unfortunately, we don't talk about it enough because there's too much acceptance, which is fine. But I still think there has to be
looked upon as toxic masculinity, and that can be another podcast. But I always tell men, yeah, you should be able to train, to cook a dinner, to punch a guy out, to choke him to death if you have to, and to hold the door open for an old lady. You gotta be all those people in one.
Yes, you gotta learn how to. Got to be on the couch.
That's it, baby.
Guys, this was a great podcast. A lot of great stuff. Dimitri, honestly, you're a book of wealth.
Thank you.
Knowledge, inspiration. Man, that was wild.
I hope everyone who's watching this episode is going to refer a friend to come see these guys in case they need any help with their mortgages or their homes. But more importantly, get your ass outside. Go for a workout. Go do some push-ups. Push-ups are free, but no one's doing them. Go take your kids for a workout. Look at your heart rate, get to the point where you want to pass out, and then tell yourself, do I want to be like this for the rest of my life, or do I want to improve? That's it.
Yeah. Amazing. It goes for everything. Being an entrepreneur, salesperson, even just a good person in general.
You're a parent. You have
be
a
better.
Responsibility.
Dimitri, tell everybody where they can find you if they want to contact you for health and
Go to
wellness.
YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dimitri Giankoulas. If you live in the city of Vaughan and you want an experience that's boutique, that's for the 40-plus crowd. The club is called Pure Motivation Fitness. Dufferin Major Mac. Mention this podcast. You get 7 days of complimentary training on us. And if you're a male over 40 and you're watching this and you're struggling quietly, you want to improve, you're at your best shape, you're 50, 60, and you want to improve even more, message me on Instagram, coach_Dimitri, or Facebook, my first and last name, and I'll help you with a strategy call with a body type specific approach, unique like no other, to help you out.
Amazing. You can find this episode on all streaming platforms, on YouTube, on Spotify, on TikTok, on Instagram, on the Couch Podcast 23. Danny,
Mortgages by Danny C. Also,
Guys, till next time. This was amazing.
I'll leave you guys with 3 words. Ready? Average is the enemy. Action beats anxiety. And attitude is everything.
Yes, you get to choose that. You get to choose that. Till next time, guys. See ya.